落ちた競合飛べないカラス
What's up YouTube, it's Blackwing here, and today we're gonna have a look at Kanak's video where he ranks every Blackwing version. So we're gonna react to that and see what he thinks about the Blackwing. So let's jump straight into it.
What is going on, guys? Today it's finally the day where I rank every single Blackwing deck. Let's start with the first one, this Indestructible for Armmaster build. Unfortunately, competitive wise, I haven't played it as much competitive yet because it's easy to break. Like, you might win against like the top meta decks because not every meta deck plays kaijus or whatever, but you might lose sometimes to a deck that has only simple goddess, whatever, and that already sucks sometimes. Like, yeah, you can build more than just one Indestructible Armmaster. You can actually surround it with other cards, but then you will probably lose really bad against a single Nibiru sometimes, which sucks also. And it also loses really hard to draw, really hard to draw. And
yeah, so the Indestructible Full Armor Master combo, I think it's a cool deck, but I think it's a little bit like glitchy in a way, like one single kaiju outfit, you know, in a format where we had Noir, you know, it's not that great, and obviously Goddess outfits, and I think there's too many ways to out it, to be honest. And yeah, loses to Nibiru, loses to draw, you know.
Yeah, I like it. It's really fun. It's probably the most fun deck that we have. But unfortunately, right now it's not one of the competitive. Like, it's the least competitive deck, I would say. Next one, we have the King Calamity, and I know King Calamity has a lot of fans, but in my opinion, it's just not strong. This card can easily miss its timing. Easily. It's a weaker version of the Kaluga, because Kaluga has Heavy Storm, and King Calamity doesn't have that, so you still lose to Labyrinth or any other stun deck. So I don't really like this one, but it's...
Yep, that's completely true. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's a little bit more competitive than the Indestructible Armor Master version, but...
Yep, I agree.
Like, if you really want to go to YCS, don't go with the King Calamity version. You rather want to go with the Kaluga. And the Kaluga is some deck that we all need.
I would say Calamity version is still fine if you go to like locals or, you know, such events.
To appreciate and be thankful for, because this build has carried us for a long time in Blackwings.
Too long time, in my opinion.
In my opinion, and I'm going to make a different video about this. I'm going to talk more about the Kaluga version. But for beginners in general, even if it's like in Yu-Gi-Oh general, or for any other player, like for people that believe they are not good in this game and don't know much about the meta or against any other deck, like, because if you want to be like really competitive and good in Yu-Gi-Oh, you need to know all the other decks. If you're playing Kaluga, you don't need to know all the other decks, because
when you're going first, that is for the most of the time. For example, let's say Super Polymerization would be an insta staple in some decks. For example, let's say the most played deck, you would want to end up on like Arsenal Falco plus Blackwings Full Armor Master, then they can't Super Poly your field. But yeah.
All you want to do is summon Kaluga, and then you ultimately win against any deck. The only issue with this deck is that you have to play 2 bricks, which is the Raider's Wing and the rank up. But sometimes having the rank up already on your hand is also a blessing sometimes.
Yeah, and also the Raider's Wing can just be small world away, so it's also completely fine in a way. Obviously, if you're going second, you would much rather see a hand trap or something like Engine than a Raider's Wing or Phantom Knight's rank up. But then again, I think it's like, yeah, it's only 2 cards, so I think it's okay.
But yeah, it's 2 bricks that you have to play, and yeah, bricks usually don't carry a deck to a YCS win, I believe. What am I talking about right now? But yeah.
Okay, I'm not too sure about this because there's obviously like Gamma package that has played driver, and there has been countless engines that are so good that they need to have like some kind of a brick. And even though they have the brick, they have been doing or getting really great results. So that's strange, but okay, let's continue.
And smart people find maybe always a way to beat Kaluga, but you cannot 100% rely on Kaluga. That's the issue. Probably.
I think that's a wrong mindset to play the deck, in my opinion. Like if Kaluga gets, for example, let's say the Arsenal Falcon gets Kaiju or something, you know, you should still have your full armor master, your Shagna Engraved, Chinook in hand, you know, a couple black Winch Assault Dragons, or maybe Burrell or Savage Dragon. So you should still have like a lot of interruption. So if you're kind of playing to only rank up into Kaluga, I think you're doing something, you know, not so optimal. You're just playing to that because the deck has a lot of other things it can also do. Yep.
If it's not the best version right now, and like I said, it's also the most consistent version, and the key in the best deck is consistency, and this deck does not have the consistency as the other top decks that I'm going to show you. So for me, it's between A and B. I would say A. Okay.
Consistency is also one thing that I want to little bit touch on here, because I think consistency is like how good your engine is and how much hand traps you can play. For example, if your engine takes every spot of your main deck, you have a like crazy consistent deck, but what then when you go second, you know? Then again, if you play like 20 hand traps and then your engine is only 20, you know, obviously you're gonna have those hands where you just draw hand traps and, you know, your deck is not gonna be consistent. But then again, obviously your opponent won't play that much either. So I think you have to balance those two out. So it's like how good your combo can perform under hand traps, because obviously when you're going first, you're probably getting hand trapped a lot of the times, and how much hand traps can you actually main deck when you're going second, and how impactful those hand traps are. So yep, let's continue.
Let's put. It's hard, man. I want to put like B. Yes, it's hard. I'm gonna put it to B. Okay, for me, Kaluga is B. Next up, we got the
Interesting.
pure Blackwing version, completely pure. The good thing about this, though, is that you can play a lot of hand traps. The bad thing is, you will potentially break from a lot of hand traps, because
yeah, that's exactly what I said. So there's like a balance that you have to find, you know.
you don't have that many good starter engine cards.
The issue, I think, with Synchro build, there's two things. For example, like Kaluga version, you can make an insane board with just Vada and Blackfoot Whirlwind. With the Synchro board, you cannot do that, you know. So you need less engine, less cards on Kaluga to end up on an insane board versus the Synchro. And obviously Synchro can play more hand traps, but then again, if you even open up really well with the Synchro, it's still, you know, it cannot make an Omni Negate and force out Nibiru, and there's like other stuff that I don't like so much about the Synchro build. So yeah, it's more like a mid-range deck in my opinion.
That's my issue with this deck. It is really strong.
Yep.
Playing through interruptions with only engine is difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really, really difficult. And
I think it's possible, but you have to be a really great pilot.
usually you cannot do that. So yeah. Well, for me, it's definitely better than the Calamity version.
And also about the like Synchro only board and playing just with your engine. For example, like in the old XYZ Kaluga version, it was so good to just open up Simoon, summon Aster, make full armor master, play Aster's effect from the graveyard, you know, give wedge counters to all of your opponent's cards. You know, your opponent might, you know, negate it, but then your opponent already used a monster effect that you can take with full armor master, you know, and start to break the board like just like that. So yeah, it is possible to break boards with engine, and this was something that I did quite a lot in the European Championships when it was Pride and Tournaments format.
Yeah, we can put like this. It's fine. The pure version is equally as good as the Kaluga version. I can say that.
Equally good. I disagree, but okay. In the OCG is a different thing, but yeah.
Next up.
and this video is only for TCG. I'm sorry, because if we're taking Max C to the equation, you know, it gets or Master Duel, it gets, you know, a lot harder.
We have. Let's start with the Bystial version. So the Bystial version is something that I really like a lot, because the combo lines are always completely different. I would say this version can play through the most hand traps. I want to say it can play through the most hand traps.
Well, I don't know. I would say like it's similar to Kaluga in a way, but I think Kaluga can even play better through hand trap, to be honest. But yeah, let's continue.
But once, like, if they successfully activate evenly match, let's say Dark will even match. Dark will evenly match.
No problem for Kaluga.
All I want to say is, this deck, if you have like a really good hand, bro, you're winning through all the hand traps. All the hand traps. There's no hand traps that can stop you. But sometimes this deck can brick really bad. The key in the best deck is consistency, and this deck does not have the consistency as the other top decks that I'm going to show you. So, because you start with too many Bystials. But you don't have any graveyard targets, and your opponent suddenly plays.
Yeah, and also that's one thing, that with the Bystial engine, it's a really great engine, but also if there is like no dark or light decks in the format, you know, it's obviously you can banish your own stuff and special summon the Bystials, yes, but obviously then Bystials going second as hand traps aren't like as powerful. So yeah.
Rescues also doesn't have any dark targets. Maybe if they have like Diabol's engine, but if they don't have the Diabol's engine, then yeah, or Fire Kings. Against Fire Kings, the Bystials are dead. The Bystials are a blessing, but they can also be a curse. And that's my issue. Against some decks, they don't do anything, but against other decks, they are insanely strong. But in this next format, I don't think the Bystials are going to be as good as in the previous ones.
I agree with that, because the ban list basically hit Terror Laments really hard and Unchained really hard, and both of those are like, you know, decks that run dark monsters that activate in the graveyard. So yeah.
So that's why I have to put the Bystial version to A, because of consistency issues that I don't like. I'm not saying this deck is not consistent. It is consistent, but it's not as consistent as the Horus Blackwing deck right now. And that's the thing why I'm going to put the Horus deck on top, because it is the most consistent deck. If you are going first, getting out that monster negate before you even start with your normal combos. Crazy.
Yeah, that is one thing that is really good. I'm not gonna lie. Like in Kaluga version, you can like force it out. Synchro version doesn't have it. In the Bystial version, you kind of can do it as well. But I think that's like the major pro of the Horus version right now.
Like, it's actually crazy. I really like this deck. I have never bricked with this deck ever before in my life. And that's also the reason why I believe the Horus Blackwing deck is right now the best version. Yeah. Just because of consistency. Consistency. And
Okay, he thinks it's the best deck. Well, I kind of disagree with it. I think why it shines just right now has been because like nobody plays Dark Ruler no more, and it's really good obviously against the deck. Evenly Match is also not that popular, and that's also obviously a really good card against the deck. Then also I would say Shifter hurts Horus a lot more than Bystial, and Kaluga can play underneath or under it. So I think it's a really kind of format specific kind of deck to play right now, and it works. You know, you can think of it like if we would have like three kind of separate formats or trends. So we have like board breakers, which are a thing. We have Dark Ruler no more. We have Evenly Match. Sometimes those cards are really popular in a format. Sometimes we have the kind of more of a hand trap format where we have, you know, a lot of Ash Blossoms, Nibiru, Shifter, Droll and Lockbird and so on. And sometimes I would say we have like a third board breaker format where the board breakers are more like Kaiju, Lava Golem, Raw Sphere mode, Super Polymerization, you know, stuff like that. You could almost say they are in the like board breaking format, but I want to put them into like an own separate column, because if you kind of understand the meta or the format or trends where we are right now, we're currently in a hand trap format, heavy hand trap format. Like every deck needs to play 9 hand traps or plus pretty much. So I think when the trend is gonna go more to a board breaking format, I think this deck will suffer a lot because of that. So yep, that's just my opinion.
You guys might not approve of my opinion, but trust me, the more you play with this Horus Blackwing deck, the more you're gonna like it. The Horus deck loses sometimes really bad against Shifter sometimes.
Yeah.
But the Bystial deck doesn't necessarily have to lose against Shifter. It can play actually really nice on the Shifter, which the Horus deck cannot. But
yeah, and also Shifter will be most likely played a lot in the next format because of fire.
yeah, I don't think Shifter is going to be a big problem in this next format.
Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah.
So how I would rearrange this list, I would probably put Kaluga on top, then then probably the Bystial and then the Horus. Just because I feel like Kaluga has the least weaknesses, and I think the Bystial engine and the Horus engine are really kind of similar and close to each other. But they both have like different kind of issues. Horus engine loses to, you know, board breakers and then like dimensional shifter, and then the Bystial engine, just because if there are not any light and dark decks in the format, obviously half of your engine becomes not that great. Obviously the engine is still really good, but then it, you know, the deck takes a little bit of a hit because like half of your hand traps doesn't do that much, or not half, maybe 1/3. But anyway, you get the kind of idea where I'm going here. So I think Kaluga is the best. I would say Bystial Blackwings, then Horus Blackwings, and you know, maybe then Synchro, and then King Calamity, and then Indestructible Full Armor Master as well. But one build that he has not included here is actually a new Raidraptor Blackwing deck. And I think if you can remember 2 years ago when I was kind of like playing and inventing this XYZ Blackwing that obviously made King Kaluga, now Raidraptors are getting way more support, really great support actually. So I think that version becomes available again, or some kind of a like XYZ Kaluga Blackwing combo deck, or maybe you don't even have to play Kaluga in there, who knows. But yeah, so I think that should be included here somewhere in the list. I would probably put it into B before saying anything. You know, it seems really strong, the new Raidraptor cards. I have to look more into those. But yeah, let's see what else Kanak has to say here.
Alright, what about you guys? What do you think is the best Blackwing deck? Let me know in the comments right now below. And yeah, at the end of the day though, I'm really proud of every single Blackwing deck, and I love every single one of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you all. Take care. Bye bye.
Alright, so that was his video. So interesting, and I think a lot of good opinions, and obviously it's his, you know, perspective. What do you think about our opinions, mine and Kanak's? You can comment them down below, and maybe I'll answer some of them. And if you want to see how my Blackwing deck evolves from here on out, you can become a member and support me, and you will get to see a lot of exclusive member-only content and my deck list and so on. Alright, but that was it for the video today. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'm out.
それでも一人じゃなくなったあいつは強いよ。